Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever this video finds you, I hope you're having a rad time. I'm the Figure Dude, and today we're going to take a look at my Uso collection. Without further ado, let's talk about some figures. Dude. Welcome back. Like I said today, I originally was just going to look at my Jey Uso figures. So kind of like with Edge and Christian, I was going to do a showcase with them, and I was going to do an Edge showcase of my figures, and then I was like, well, I might as well throw Christian in here because I mostly I felt like I had more Jey figures, and I do, but like as just modern looks. But there's a bunch of tag team figures of the Usos, and their figures have always sold really well. So this right here is Elite 31, I think it was, and for a while those were these are the only Surfer Islander kind of look that we got in the Elite line, I'm pretty sure. All the other ones ended up having the joggers, which I'm fine with. I wish we would have gotten more elites of them when they started their day one-ish kind of gimmick, when they were SmackDown tag champs. There are some figures we'll get to of them, but these ones I did really like. They're re-releasing them in the Greatest Hits line, and as of recording, I don't think they're out yet, but I think they look awesome. They're still coming with the rubber shirts, I'm pretty sure, that are that came with the original ones, which I didn't really like those. So I have these shirts from Threadhead, and I got orange ones just to make it pop a little bit instead of the black that they came with. I can never remember which one is Jimmy and which one is Jey. They do have very different tattoos, but with True Effects, I feel like that makes a little bit of a difference. If I had to guess, I'd guess the tongue out one. Someone told me this. They said the tongue out one was always the same. So I think that the one with the smile is Jimmy and the one with the tongue out is Jey. But now I don't remember exactly. I would have to go back and look at their specific tattoos to remember that. Outside of that, I really like these figures. I've used these for a lot of customs. Through the tag belts on them. They might have come with the tag belts, I don't remember exactly, but I really didn't have a lot of complaints about these, and they're colored a little bit differently in the Greatest Hits line, or from the vault, whatever it is on ringside. So I'm gonna be picking those up. I think they look great. They'll have the double jointed arms and all that, but those are the only, like I said, only Islander kind of look we have for the Usos. So moving on. All right, so these ones are kind of fixed up, kind of different than their normal release. So I had these, I switched them. I wanted to make Bloodline customs, so you can see on the side there it says Bloodline. They were not in the Bloodline. I just talked about the day one-ish look, and that's what is these are originally from that. So I feel about these head sculpts the way I feel about, or not just the head sculpts, but looking at these versions of Jimmy and Jey is how I feel about looking at the Steiner brothers, like back when Rick had long brown hair and no facial hair, or Scott had long brown hair. And looking at these and thinking that one of these is Jey Uso is just bizarre to me. I know that they're twins, and the Jey sculpt I actually liked quite a bit at the time. I think they've gotten way better, and now that they have different looks, I feel like they've done a much better job distinguishing them, which I'll have more to talk about with even that. That Jimmy head sculpt is absolute butt cheeks. That does not look like him. I think it looks miserable. I don't know what their thought was, and even when it came out, people were like, what in the world is that? It was when they had first started using True Effects as well. This was like one of the first elites, I'm pretty sure, that they used True Effects on head sculpts, and it just was not there for that Jimmy. Again, the Jey I feel like is pretty good. At that point it was pretty good. I think I had swapped double jointed arms onto him when I put on that black arm sleeve, and I was going for the Bloodline versions. But the jacket that Jimmy came with, they might have also come with some other ones. or some other goods. No, I can't. Maybe like bandanas or something. I know they came with a little bit more, but these are some really nice elites, and I'd only fixed them up because I wanted Bloodline versions, and then we ended up getting those anyway with a new pants mold and everything, so I kind of reverted them back to what they were before. But up to this point, these were some pretty solid Uso figures. Alright, so here we are getting to the actual Bloodline. So I am missing we got some white Usos, and they were all white and had red shoes. And though, well, no, now I'm second guessing myself. I think the white attire, it was white with like red shoes, and a red shirt maybe. I think those were the first ones we saw for the true effects, and then we ended up getting those red and black ones a little after that. So I had those white ones, and those I ended up using for random customs, which now I wish I would not have. I don't know what they look like on the secondary market, but those head sculpts I believe were the ones that were on those. And I would like to get them back in the collection. Like I was talking about, Uso figures typically would fly off the shelves, and they were never guys that were like super high on my list, so I wasn't just like, oh, I like see him in the store, I gotta grab them. So I missed out on some, used customs on some, and I like to get those back in the collection. But these I was so pumped to get. This was the they used the Ultimate Edition leg mold here. They had the double jointed shoes, and this was their like actual Bloodline attire that was going to match with the Solo. We've got the Sami Zayn now, and then obviously like Roman's just in his black attire or his black pants, but this was the set of Usos that that matched everyone. And these head sculpts I liked so much. The Jey sculpts, I feel like they've got those down. Jimmy, I feel like, so like they had given us which I'll get to. They'd given us a Jimmy head sculpt with the Ultimate Edition, and everyone said, what is this? This is Jey Uso twice. And instead of just fixing it, Mattel doubled down briefly before eventually giving us this one, and then we've gotten some more since they've released a few more Jimmy figures. But at first everyone was like, what the world? Like, what? I know they're twins, but like they don't really look exactly the same, especially now. Like I feel like Jay's gotten a little more in shape, so his face looks a little bit slimmer, and he's got a different haircut, so there should be able to easy to distinguish them now. But like for these specifically, I think they look pretty nice. They do have the Daniel Bryan torso, so I don't know why they did that. I thought that was odd. A lot of people thought that was weird. I don't know where the titles I had with Jimmy are, but these were some great figures, and my favorite color is red, so I'm a little impartial there. Next up are the ringside exclusive ultimates of the Usos here, and these were the ones we got these before the red looks for them, and then they just reused the leg mold. So I did like these more, but I don't like the drop down hips. I'm not a fan. I don't like how they articulate. They're fine if you're just doing some static posing, but if you're trying to just move them around, it's kind of a pain in the butt. So I did really like these. I like the torsos with these. They've got that same torso as like Roddy Piper Ultimates or the Shawn Michaels Amazon Takeover one, and I feel like that fits their body. It looks better for how they're built. The head sculpt on here is for Jimmy is the head sculpt that was on the black and red version, and then which up to that point I thought that was the best head sculpt we'd gotten for Jimmy, and then the one that was on the black and red, it was the one that I said was on Elite, I think it was 54, that we got in that white and red look for them. So I was a little off on my head sculpts there, but I thought that this was the best Jimmy we'd gotten up to this point. It looks different than Jey, and that was like one of the big points. I did paint the red on there because he had a bit of red, and then I've got a figure to compare to that. But with the Jey here, I feel like from here on out, they just were knocking it out of the park with his head sculpts. I love that they had upgraded his hair there, and the reason I have this Jimmy sculpt on here is because of the bad sculpts they'd given us for him, and I felt like those just looked exactly like Jey Uso. So I no, I said I didn't like the hips, and the sculpts for Jimmy weren't great, but I felt like they nailed these. The Island of Relevancy shirt is from Threadhead Clothing. I had thrown that on Jimmy as well instead of just the We the Ones shirt, but these were some pretty sweet figures, and I feel like for the most part they've really been killing it with Uso figures from these on. I was gonna move on, so instead of just swapping things out, what I want to do is just move Jey here, and then I'll grab this other Jimmy that was in the Top Picks line, and the difference in these is pretty wild. So they used the normal elite build for the Top Picks Jimmy, and that was one of the head sculpts that we got with the Ultimate Edition, and I don't know what the world that was. I hated the hair, I hated the head sculpt, and together I hated them even more. And Mattel doubling down and saying this is Jimmy, not Jey. Like, Jimmy never had a haircut that looked like that, and they just refused to admit they'd messed up. And I'm pretty sure they even put like a picture of Jey on a box for Jimmy. Like, there was a whole ordeal with it. From the neck down, it was fine. I didn't really have issues with it. I picked it up on clearance. I figured if nothing else, I would just make a custom out of it, but it just kind of sits on the shelf next to the other Jimmys because I don't think it's great. It's got all the it's got the true effects, double jointed features, all that, but the head sculpt just ruins that for me. So now we'll completely move on. All right, now we have just singles Jey Uso, and the Yeet Jey Uso, I think that is the, was it Elite 114 is the most recent, well, 112, I don't remember what wave he's in. I picked him up at Walmart, and he does have a chase figure that is in blue, which I didn't realize. I think I thought the blue attire was a custom the first time I'd seen it, so I didn't even really check. I really wanted this look. They have changed up the shoes for them, so with the top, or this is just the Elite, I believe. So with that one, he's got the updated shoes, so you can see it's got, like, it looks more like a sock that kind of fits into the shoe. And then the other one is that same mold that John Cena, they've used for John Cena, I think. And those angles just don't hold up as well. So the new ones, they rotate all the way around because instead of the weird like T-peg thing they have in there, they've got a, like Jazzwares, I believe, where it's a peg and it rotates all the way around. So I really like that upgrade with it. The Ultimate that we got of Jey here, I didn't think we necessarily needed. I thought it was cool, and I like, now he's blown up. Obviously he won the Royal Rumble. He's gonna go to Mania. As I don't know when I'll be able to get this one up on the channel, so maybe we're close to Mania already, but I went to the Rumble and I watched him. I watched it live, and my mind was blown. I did not think he was gonna win, but I'm fully behind it. It was fun. People went nuts. His reception at the night after the Rumble was massive. My children, I sent them videos. Their favorite wrestlers are currently, my kids are 3 and 5. My kids love AJ Styles, The Undertaker, Jey Uso, Joe Hendry, John Cena, and number 6 is Giant Gonzalez. My 3-year-old loves Giant Gonzalez. But it's fun. I really just care about having fun. You know, people always go back and forth. There's always the tribal fandom between WWE and AEW, but I think it's best to just have fun. There's no point in not having fun. So anyway, I think the Jey is nice. It's no different than the other Ultimate we got from Ringside. It's just different colors. The white, I think, looks real nice. It's from his match when he fought Roman, and I think that might have been the Royal Rumble as well. And then the Yeet attire just looks good. I like the color scheme with the black, and then the blue and the white really pop off there. So got a couple more before we move on to wrap things up. All right, so the last ones for today are the The Jimmy that also came in the same wave as that last Jey, and then this Jey I think was the top picks one. And I don't know if I have the correct. The white shirt I think goes on this one, and not. I think the new one came with a black shirt. I don't remember exactly, but the Jimmy here I thought was odd that he came with a shirt that said "We the Ones." I was kind of in my head, I thought we were getting a red version or even like a no yeet Jimmy. I would have preferred. I didn't really want another Bloodline look for him, but they did give him completely new pants, I'm pretty sure. I don't think that's a reused mold or a mold that we've seen with Jey. I know we're getting a promo Roman, and some people have said they would have preferred him having pants like this, and they gave him his normal ring pants. I think I might end up picking up another one of these Jimmys to make that Roman the correct way once we do get it. But both of these figures, I think, like this era of Jey Uso figures and this Jimmy are the best that they have done for any version of these guys. Their head sculpts, I think, are spot on. I really like all the Jey's head sculpts. Like, I haven't really disliked any of the Jey sculpts we've gotten with this new look, and this Jimmy is so much better. They're doing swappable hair with him, so I think that's really cool. And those swappable hair pieces for me have worked really well. I haven't really had complaints about those. I swear they showed us a red version of this Jimmy, and like, I'm not complaining. I think this looks good. It's easy to swap a different shirt on there, but maybe I'm just tripping out. I know there's a lot of Jays. I'm pretty sure they had already announced another Ultimate of him, but I could be completely wrong. I get my upcoming news wrong every now and then. I just collect as I go because Mattel's pumping out figures like crazy. So last thing we're going to do is get everyone up on the screen together and wrap it up. So there we go. There are all of my Usos, and like I said, these guys have been hard to come by, but we have been getting a lot more, and they've really improved their figures, and especially with Jey's rise to the main event here, and with the amount of popularity he has amassed the last year or so, I imagine we'd be getting a lot of his figures, especially in the top picks line. I mean, I'm not calling him John Cena, but the way he's very toyetic, kids love him. That's part of why he's gotten over so huge. And I can see us getting a lot of figures, and I'm gonna pick up a lot of them. I think his joggers look is cool. It's different. Gives us a lot of options for figures. Jimmy, there's some attires I would like with him as well. You could give me those two all the time and I'll pick them up. I'm a big fan of the Usos. And if we could get, so I had talked about the battle pack. There's a couple battle packs of them in their Surfer Islander look. I don't know what it is a better reference for that, but their like debut look with I can't remember who wore what. One of them had like short like Dolph Ziggler like shorts, and then the other had long pants. If we could get elites of those, that would be awesome. I don't know what line, I don't know how. If we could get that, I would love it. I guess I could make them if I really wanted to, but I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say here. I think these look fantastic. The most recent figures for both Jimmy and Jey I think look really good, so hopefully Mattel just keeps that up. But that is going to wrap everything up here today. If you stuck around, I appreciate it. Please continue to like, share, subscribe, and remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy more action figures. Figure Dude.